Hey everybody, welcome back to That Makes Sense, the YouTube channel about vinyl, electronic music, new wave music, dance music, music from the 80s, 90s, all the way to today. Also, it's about synthesizers. So, what better group to represent that than with Depeche Mode? And today we're going to continue talking about the Depeche Mode vinyl box sets that came out a couple years back. Today, I'm really excited to talk about um, the box set from Ultra from 1996 originally. Here's what it looks like. Here's what it looks like on the back. And each box set comes with a mini poster, so I'll just show this to you right now. This is for Useless. All right. So just wanted to talk about this album from a personal perspective. If you were old enough to grow up with Depeche Mode, especially in the 90s, in 1995, Alan Wilder left the band. Dave Gahan was having the issues with the heroin. I mean, he literally died like twice. And I think this is, internet was starting to come out, but there was like MTV News where you could find about it. And I know like on our alternative radio station, they talked about it. But I just remember like, and I think probably a lot of Depeche Mode fans did at that time, that with everything that was going on, that this would be the end of the band. I did not think that Depeche Mode was going to continue. I know that probably a lot of Depeche Mode fans felt that way. And then also I thought, God forbid if Dave passed away, would the band still be together? Because by that point it would just be Martin Gore and Andrew Fletcher. So thank God that didn't happen. But it was something that was definitely thought about. Now, what makes this album unique to me is I actually was living in Europe at the time when it was released. And I got to attend a Depeche Mode Ultra release party in Tampere, Finland, where I was at the time. And that was just so cool to be there. I think the album hadn't come out yet. I think Bear of a Gun had come out as a single. Maybe It's No Good, I'm not sure. But to go to a place, like a relaxed place, and dance and have fun, where there was just a gathering of Depeche Mode people, was really cool. And I remember I was with some people, some Finnish girls, and I remember at the end, there was like huge Depeche Mode Ultra posters hanging around this bar that we were at, and the girls were taking the posters, and the security stopped and they said, "Oh, okay, you can have them." So I still have one of the mini posters from Ultra somewhere in my crawl space, but yeah, that was just a fun time. And so I mentioned in the past that in Europe, oftentimes there would be two releases for a single, as opposed to the US, where there would just be one. And that's the case again with Ultra in Europe. Not only were there two vinyl releases for the single, but there would be two CD singles for the releases. And depending on what side of the pond, the US or Europe, you would have different songs potentially. So I wanted to talk about the releases for Ultra, and I'll show you some of my original ones. But the first mix is first record from the series is Barrel of a Gun. Take a look at it, and this is from the box set. It has this really cool fold out thing. You can kind of see Martin and Dave and Fletch there. And then here is the back of that. And I don't know, there might be even, yeah, this is really cool. There is a full-size poster in the record. And I don't have at least the case of this original record, so I can't tell you. I assume this is also in the original, but it's basically the cover of Barrel of a Gun. So, the mixes on this is Barrel of a Gun, I assume the album version. Barrel of a Gun Underworld Hard Mix. If you remember, the movie Trainspotting had come out, and Underworld did a big song on the Trainspotting soundtrack. So they had the Underworld Hard Mix, the three-phase mix of Barrel of a Gun 1-inch punch mix V2, and Barrel of a Gun Underworld soft mix. So Underworld actually had two mixes from on the original Barrel of a Gun. And I just remember when the song came out, it was just awesome. It sounded, by that time, Nine Inch Nails' Downward Spiral album had come out, and it definitely had that kind of like Nine Inch Nails sort of sound, but it was really cool where they were taking it. And it was great to see Dave back, how they were able to record this album. I don't know. But it definitely had that Depeche Mode sound. So here's the second record from the box set for Barrel of a Gun. And this has Painkiller Plastic Man mix, Painkiller, which both of those are instrumental B-sides, Barrel of a Gun 1-inch punch mix, and then Barrel of a Gun United mix. So that's that. Now I remember on the US CD single, there was two of them. There was like a 3-track and then a maxi single that was released in the US. So the US CD single had Barrel of a Gun United mix, Painkiller, the original mix, which the and then on the US maxi single you have Barrel of a Gun single, Painkiller Plastic Man mix, Barrel of a Gun Underworld soft mix, Barrel of a Gun 1-inch punch mix. It's actually the V2 version, and then Barrel of a Gun Underworld hard mix. So one of the reasons I know that the mixes were there, but it did not contain the 3-phase mix. Nothing. So however, the U.S. record, I believe, contained it. I know the cassette tape. There was a cassette tape release of Barrel of a Gun, and it had the 3-phase mix. The writing on the U.S. record is so hard to read. But I believe that the U.S. record has a 3-phase mix as well. But I remember at the time, I had bought the CD singles in Europe, and then when I came back, I bought the U.S. mix that had the three-phase mix because the European singles, CD singles at least, didn't have that. So I remember that's why I bought it. Trying to think anything else about that release. Yeah, so I'm reading some notes here. The 3-phase mix was on the original UK 12-inch, but was never released on any US commercial CD release. Only the US 12-inch and the cassette tape. And then the 1-inch punch mix on the US 12-inch is actually the version 2. There was no commercial CD release of the original 1-inch punch mix until the 2004 singles box sets. So, And it says here in the notes here, I didn't know this, Depeche Mode was reportedly unhappy with Underworld's first harder mix, so a lighter, more melodic version was made, the soft mix. Alright, sorry about that. I had to take care of cat business. So anyways, the second single from Ultra was It's No Good. Here's what it looks like if I didn't show it to you. I love It's No Good. I think the music video is awesome. I was in Europe when it came out. I remember watching, hearing it, and it was just such like Depeche Mode. It's like a classic Depeche Mode song, at least to me. They had fun with it. They didn't take it too seriously, at least in the music video. It's rather kind of over the top, but yeah, it's a cool song. I remember it was played a lot on the radio, at least in Finland at the time. It wasn't played in the States too much, but anyways, it has a song It's No Good. It has an instrumental B-side called Slow Blow, and then Slow Blow Darren Price mix, and then It's No Good bass bounce mix. So that is record number 1 for It's No Good. The second one is It's No Good. This one, I used to have a giant poster of this right here, so I really like this cover. Nothing fancy on the back, but it has It's No Good hard floor mix, It's No Good Speedy J mix, It's No Good motor bass mix, It's No Good Andrea Parker mix, and then It's No Good Dom T mix. So again, in Europe, the CD singles, It's No Good was a 2-part CD single, as opposed to the US, which was a actually it was a 3-track CD single and then a US maxi single. So the US version had It's No Good album version, Slow Blow Darren Price mix, It's No Good bass bounce mix. The US CD maxi had It's No Good, It's No Good hard floor mix, Slow Blow, It's No Good Speedy J mix, and It's No Good bass bounce mix. So the one thing about this is the Andrea Parker mix, the motor bass mix, and the Dom T mix were all in the UK releases, not in the US. But I think the Andrea Parker mix or the motor bass mix, I think it's really good, and that's why I was disappointed that was not released in the US. But by that point, I already had the CD single. But when the when the box sets came out, that Andrea Parker mix was released. Is it the Andrea Parker motor bass mix was released, and I finally had that on vinyl. But here is the US version of It's No Good, at least on vinyl. It's only a 4-track record, which contains It's No Good hard floor mix, It's No Good bass bounce mix, It's No Good Speedy J mix, and Slow Blow Darren Price mix. So the other thing I have to mention about It's No Good that would have been awesome if they would have put in was in the US, Peter Rauhofer did remixes of It's No Good called the Club 69 mix, and they were like hardcore dance mixes. I remember there was a warehouse club in Ohio at the time when that remix had come out, and they used to play the heck out of it at in this giant warehouse club, which was a perfect place to play because it was a just booming remix. But he did 3 remixes: the Future mix, Future dub, and Funk dub. and those are all Club 69 mixes. They're highly collectible. I don't have them on vinyl, but I know I've got, I think, two of the mixes on CD that I bought from a compilation back in the 90s. Also, BT was commissioned to do US market remixes of It's Not Good, but they were never used. And I don't know if I have a bootleg mix of that somewhere. But those Club 69 mixes are really collectible. I really wish they would have put them in the box set, like as like a promotional sort of release. Because, and here's, they totally could have done this because they did it with "World in My Eyes," with the John Marsh of the Beloved, his remix of "World in My Eyes," which was promotional. They totally could have thrown that in there and made a lot of fans really happy. Honestly, I don't think the Club 69 mixes are that great, but still, for the collector, I think that was definitely a missed opportunity. So, all right. So the next release from Ultra is Home, and I'll show you what that looked like. It's from the box set. Again, this is based on the UK releases. And the mixes we have are Home Jedi Knights remix, Drowning in Time, Home Around the Gulf remix, which I think was done by wait, there's one that's remixed by Air. I remember that, the French duo Air. Home Meant to Be, and then a Home Grampy mix. So that's what's on this one. And then on the second one, here's what it looks like. It contains Home, The Noodles, and the Damage Done, which is kind of like a rock mix, which is kind of fun to listen to. And then it has Barrel of a Gun live and It's No Good live. I don't know where these live recordings were made. I'm trying to find out. I'm not sure, but what I will say is, at the time, Depeche Mode did not tour for Ultra. They really wanted Dave to get back on his feet, and they did not want to go through a large tour like they had with Songs of Faith and Devotion. But they did do a couple appearances here or there. I know there was like an Ultra party in the UK where Dave performed. Also, for those in the US, The Tonight Show with Jay Leno had Depeche Mode perform. And at the time, that was the most watched episode of The Tonight Show, I think, or at least of a band on The Tonight Show. It was a really big deal because it was the first time, I believe, that Depeche Mode had played in the U.S. since Dave getting better, or at least on national television. So it was good to, at least for a Depeche Mode fan, I remember staying up and watching that. It was awesome to see, number one, the enthusiasm of all the fans that were in the crowd at the Tonight Show, but to see Dave and the boys back together playing, because we thought it was going to be the end in '95. Okay, so just to let you know, Home, the next single from Ultra is Useless. In the US, Home and Useless was released as a double CD, or I'm sorry, not a double CD, but as a double single. So yes, you both got Home and Useless, but instead of like 4 CDs, you got like a CD. And I'll talk about that here in a second. So, and this is, and I'm reading my notes on this. I was not aware of this. The reason why Useless was released with Home is in the U.S. is because the alternative radio station out in Los Angeles called K Rock, they jumped the gun and started playing the heck out of Useless, and it's so basically Reprise was forced to scrap their plain Home single entirely and instead release a combined Home and Useless as a double A side. So let's talk about this. Air 20, that was the mix that Air did. But here, I'll tell you I'll just show it to you here. On the US mix, we've got Home, The Noodles and Damage Done, and then LFO, Meant to Be. And then on the back, we've got CJ Bolin Ultrasonar Extended Mix and CJ Bowler Funky Submix. Now, the CD single had a couple more songs, like the Air 20 mix of Home. And let's see if I've got a good listing. So on the CD single, which is the double album, it had Home, the album mix, Home, Grampy mix, Home, LFO, Meant to Be, Home, The Noodles and Damage Done, Useless CJ Bolin Ultrasonar Extended Mix, CJ Bolin Funky Submix of Useless, the Useless Cruder and Dorfmeister session, and Useless Escape from Wherever parts 1 and 2. And it actually had some videos from all 4 Ultra singles that you could play on computer. I think it was like well, it may not have been a DVD, but it did have like embedded video on there. So the one thing that it doesn't have is the live tracks, A Barrel of a Gun and It's No Good. Those were specifically on the European release. So also there is an interesting substitution on the US AA side, and that's the Alan Moulder single remix of Useless. So they made a new version of Useless for the single mix. And so yeah, that's the differences. So the one last thing I want to show is just the here's Ultra, the album. This is the re-release that they did a while back. This is not on the box set, but yeah, just very cool artwork. And again, this is like the album that wasn't supposed to happen. I think a lot of fans thought Depeche Mode was done at the end of Songs of Faith and Devotion, but thank God we got a great album. And Alan went on to release a couple Recoil albums, which was cool. So I'm glad we're past that period. So hey everybody, I'm back. Sorry, I had to say one more thing, and that even though it's not an album track from Ultra, something that is not in the Depeche Mode box sets that I think was a lost opportunity again is the 12-inch for the song Only When I Lose Myself. Now, Only When I Lose Myself, it's basically a one-track single that came out in 1998 after Ultra, that was on their Greatest Hits album. They released a Greatest Hits album, I think 86 to 98. They also did an 81 to 85. Now, you could say, well, Brad, Only When I Lose Myself was not a track from Ultra, therefore it should not be in the box set. But my argument is, Get the Balance Right is on the Construction Time Again box set. And Get the Balance Right was not on Construction Time. And unless you count the US album of re-releases called People Are People, it is not on any albums. So I really think, again, this is a lost opportunity. But I'll tell you what the track listing is. In the UK, there is two. There was a record. It was Only When I Lose Myself Sonic Legacy mix. Only When I Lose Myself Dan the Automator remix. The B-side Head Star Luke Slater mix. And there's a limited UK 12-inch mix that includes Only When I Lose Myself Gus Gus long play mix. Painkiller, Kill the Pain, DJ Shadow versus Depeche Mode remix. And then Surrender, Catalan FC Out of Reach mix. Now, if you were in the US, you got even a better single. So it included, it's a 2 vinyl record package, has 8 tracks. Only When I Lose Myself, Dan the Automator mix. Only When I Lose Myself, Gus Gus mix. So this is a shorter version of the Gus Gus mix. Only When I Lose Myself, Josh Abraham mix, which is exclusive to the US. Only When I Lose Myself, Josh Abraham remix instrumental. Only When I Lose Myself, Gus Gus long play mix. Only When I Lose Myself, Gus Gus short play mix. Head Star, it's a B-side, and then Only When I Lose Myself, Subsonic Legacy remix. The one thing, okay, so the US version did not have, at least on the vinyl, did not have Surrender, which is a B-side, but the US CD single definitely had Surrender and the dance mix of it. So again, a lost opportunity. So that's what makes that record now probably pretty highly collectible. So anyways, thank you.